You want to kick us off, Camila, or shall I?
Go for it.
All right, this is Scadio, Camila, and James, and we are streaming from Austin and Scotland to talk about something that's really exciting, Awaken as Love. It's coming to Austin. It's like an international movement sweeping the planet. It may actually help save our planet. So we have the founder with us, James Stevenson, which I'm really excited to visit with. And we're going to have two different things that are coming up. We've got a class on the 7th, which is basically kind of a teaser, a taste of what it is. And then we have a full week on the 21st to 28th of January, which is going to be mind-blowingly awesome. So I highly recommend you come here, and we're going to talk about why. So take it away, Camila.
Thanks, Scotty-O. Couple more details about the event coming up. First is this Saturday, the 7th, and it'll start at 1:30 p.m. and it'll end at 6:30 p.m. So we've got a nice 5-hour taster for you, which will give you actual tidbits from the stage 1 training, which is the full week long that Scotty-O mentioned at the end of January. So the taster is for people who are interested in the week long and want to get a little taste to see if, yes, this week is a good fit for me. It's also for people who just want a taster, don't have interest in the week long. And it's also for people who know they want to do the week long, but would like to get a taster ahead of time anyway and meet more people in the community that are into these types of things. So if we were to zoom out and ask, what is Awaken as Love? What's the content? What's the curriculum based in? I see 3 pillars. The first being Tantra, second being shamanism, and third being integral theory, or an offshoot called spiral dynamics that you may have heard of. So we will give you a little bit about each of those 3 pillars and why they came about to be part of Awaken as Love. So we'll pass it to you, James, to give people a sense of what got you here. How did these 3 pillars become the thing that Awaken as Love is?
Beautiful. Well, great. I'm so excited that this is happening. Yeah, and we did this last year in Austin, and it was a huge success. So I'm really glad that it's deepening over there for all you guys. The pillars that we say, there's actually 4 pillars. So you missed out, but Biodanza is another one.
Yeah.
Biodanza, yes. Thank you.
In a way, it stands on the shoulders of everything that comes before. These are 4 pillars that are kind of holding a lot of the structures together in the first stage of it. But actually it's sitting on the shoulders of all the wisdom traditions and all the developmental psychology. And we're in a very luxurious position. It's not that we just came up with all this great stuff only by ourselves. We've picked the best from all of those fields and see how they've woven together and to create something that's more than just the sum of those parts. And that's what I find really beautiful about this, and why I felt it was important to create it, because I didn't see anything else out there at the time when I was working in various Tantra fields and within an ISTA and other things. There was a lot of sacred sexuality. There was a lot of very heady integral things, which is to do with maps of reality. But there wasn't so much of that combining where we had that really deep, integrated, embodied experience of what it is to find joy and to understand who we are and where we come from. So one of the important things I find around Awaken as Love is that this week isn't just going to give you a lot of information that you take in your head and then live from that knowledge later on in your life. And it's also not just going to give you a bunch of state experiences that make you feel amazing at the time, and then a week or 3 weeks later, it all falls away and you're left with nothing. It really helps to combine those deep experiences that give you a glimpse of what is possible, but also offers you the tools, the maps, and the wisdom that you can begin to integrate this in your life. And one of the most exciting pieces for me is how the community begins to come together. So it's not just that you're on your own. I've seen in the WhatsApp groups after these trainings, thousands of messages that they continue on, they make plans, they meet again, and it really becomes part of people's lives. And that's really touching for me.
Yeah. And I just want to jump in here and say, for those of you who don't know James, he's one of our mentors, and he's probably one of the best Tantra teachers on the planet. And he's probably responsible for more Tantra festivals than anyone else. And he is a business genius as well as a tantric genius, which is really rare. And so if you haven't seen his work, check it out, and you come to us. This is his work, so come explore it. And also, just say that that what I love about you, James, is that you can take something as nebulous as tantra, and there's all different types of versions of it, and dance and all these other things, and basically distill it into a viable, organized form that people can really understand and take into their own lives, and practical steps that I'd say easy, but it's not too complicated, but it takes effort, but it's something that anyone can do. It's available, and it's life transforming, and I think it's needed more than any other time. I mean, we have a lot of challenges in this world without getting all that, but I think these tools that we're offering are really key to waking people up and having a joyful, amazing, loving, connected life with the.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to riff off that bit as well. One of the things that really attracted me to Awaken as Love in the beginning was how nourishing both the somatic dance, sound, music experience is fully fed in the week. There's many extremely activating experiences in sensual aspects and in rhythm aspects and transcending through somatic time and space. Love that, lots of that. And then there's also this spiral dynamics integral theory world of, as they were saying, maps and models and ways to really assess and synthesize and distill. And there's a satisfaction there for me, mentally, intellectually, to be looking through mind lenses at spiritual topics as well as moving through somatic lenses, and then integrating these experiences. It's special and it's unique, and to me it's one of the things I love and appreciate about you, James, and it's, to me, part of your genius, how you've woven these two together throughout the training.
Thank you. Well, one of the things that's really interesting for me is how that has shifted over the number of years. When I first started teaching Awaken as Love, the integral pieces were a bit kind of clunky for people. The brain couldn't almost get around this new information, and they're waiting for the more juicy tantric practices. That's nice, but where's the eye gazing and all the cuddle parties? And but what I've noticed shifting is that people are really ready for this. And when this information comes to them, it's not completely brand new. It's kind of there in the morphic field or in their awareness a bit more. And what I often find people saying is oh my God, this is what I've been thinking or needing, but I just didn't quite know how to put it into words. And suddenly it's landing in a way for people in this time in a way that it hasn't before, because it's also bringing in a new stage of development. So a new stage of consciousness. And this is the one that's going to solve many of the problems that we have on the planet. We've got kind of, when you go into spiral dynamics, you'll see the kind of, most of the spirituality has come out from the stage before of that, which is fighting the previous stages to some degree and pointing the finger and saying that that's wrong. And integral begins to see how all of this can work together and it actually provides some real solutions. And so that's the exciting part for me, to see the creative solutions that begin to emerge from this.
Awesome. And you also done an amazing job of building community and so forth. And this is already an international. So yeah, I'm curious, to hear from you guys. So for someone that's brand new to this, maybe brand new to Tantra or dance or whatever, or shamanism, what would be some specific benefits that they would get personally out of doing this? Camille, you want to start?
Sure. And I actually want to give a statement first before we go into the content, because
Sure.
It's important to me to say this, that it might look like a bunch of white faces in front of you right now, and this is a very, very open to all training, all genders, all races, all backgrounds, and the curriculum is really inclusive in a way that people from all around the world, we've taken Awaken as Love into so many different cultures and countries, and that's important to know that this is really a communal, international, multicultural space that's very inclusive.
And also within the faculty, we have people of all different gender biases and races, and that's something I'm really enjoying.
Yeah. So benefits, community is actually the one I'm going to start with, which relates to all of this. So as James was saying, there's WhatsApp threads after each training that continue on, sharing experiences, inviting people places, creating connections. So for most of us, when we analyze the world today, one of the big lacks is effective community, effective synergy, effective intergenerational interdependence, right? And people have become more isolated in the Western world, for sure, arguably more in the Western world. And so there's a sense of family, there's a sense of home, there's a sense of connection that is not to be underestimated. This is a real part of joy in one's life. And there's many, many studies that have shown how important community and connection, relationship, meaningful relationships are in the state of creating joy and happiness in one's life. So I think Awaken as Love is doing a stand-up job creating meaningful connections that are lasting, that are true community. I have friends, sisters, and brothers in the Awaken as Love community that are dear to me. That's how I met them, at an Awaken as Love training. The safety to explore sensually and sexually, and to weave shamanism and magic into sensual and sexual exploration. I started with saying the safety to explore, because there is woven into the space agreements and boundaries and such love and care and safety that we've seen many, many people feel comfortable opening into places where there may be sexual trauma that's ready to be shed, that's ready to be healed. And so there's a lot of tenderness, there's a lot of holding, there's a lot of safety, there's a lot of integrity with the space as it's set. And there's a really gradual movement from just meeting each other at the beginning of the training into some intimacy, into slowly more intimacy. So I respect and admire and appreciate the pace of the training. There's integration time built in, which sometimes trainings don't have. And we know in Awaken as Love how important it is to sit in stillness, to be in the void, integrating an experience before there's more input. And that is one of the things that struck me as unique with Awaken as Love, is how there's really integration pieces built in to each large ritual. I don't feel like taking all the airtime of naming all of them, because there are honestly so many benefits. So I start with a couple. I'll pass the talking stick to you, James, for a couple more benefits. And then Scadio, you can finish us up with a couple more benefits.
Well, I love that. And I think you've named some of the personal ones, and that's definitely a personal development piece, that you will find that things do start to open up in your life and they make more sense. Even just cognitively understanding integral is being said to be like a psychoactive experience, which means that it starts to change the way you think and see the world, in my opinion, in a benefit way. But it's not only an individual journey, it's also a collective journey. And part of this is moving for those big picture thinkers who are concerned with like what's going on the planet, how is our species evolving? It's about evolution, it's where are we going as a collective. So as you pick up that hero's journey, not just for yourself, but for all of us, that there's actually something more to life than just your job and your relationship and your status symbols and how well you've achieved things. It's like, it's the stopping and thinking, well, why are we here? What's really going on? And when you begin to tap into what that's known as that eros energy, like almost the sexual energy of the universe that inspired the Big Bang, that wanted to make all of this come into form. When you come into contact with that in your own life and bring that through your personal, then there's a kind of magnificence that your life begins to shine, because it's not just a kind of individual egocentric journey anymore. You're part of something much bigger, and you realize yourself as that much bigger thing. And that's where I feel the majesty of Awaken as Love really comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So I guess I'll take it from here. So we'll see. What can I cover that you guys haven't? First of all, I'll just say that I think it all boils down to self-love and connection. If we can all just do that, then we'll save the world. But what these tools are is they give you practical ways to do that. I mean, we talked about community, and like we become like the people we hang out with. We talked about utilizing eros and manifesting magic in our lives, and it really, I didn't really believe in the magic till I started doing this kind of stuff, but now I see miracles all the time. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's science. It is science, but but there's so much more available than most people realize. And then, understanding mentally what we're doing as a society, as an individual, how we're evolving really helps with the mindfulness piece. Like, I think we're also training our brains to like see the magnificence around us, like to be grateful to so my world actually gets better month after month after month. It has been doing that consistently for 14 years because I'm training my brain, I'm training my body, like through, neuroplasticity, the movement, the energy and so forth is actually enabling me to move more energy and more orgasmic joy through my body. And then with community and then, the actual just manifesting, it just things keep getting better. And I don't see any way it's going to stop. So that these tools and practices that we're offering are covering the whole spectrum of some of those powerful ways there are, I believe, to evolve personally and collectively. And it's really worth your time and effort to come check this out and see for yourself how magical this can be.
Yeah, well said.
Well, I am super excited for you guys to be doing this. I've known you both in different ways for years, and I know Monique and Peter are going to be there as well. So I feel like a little bit that I'm missing out, but I know it's beautiful and exciting training with all of you though.
We'll connect somewhere in Europe. Oh, we like to see you, but you're always welcome to Austin. We'd love to have you visit us, and we'll do our best to help continue spreading your work. So.
Yeah, and shout out to Monique and Peter, the other two facilitators that will be joining myself and Scotio in the stage 1 training at the end of January in Austin. It is again January 21st to 28th, the full week long. It is a full daytime into the evening each day, and then you go in your own accommodations at night. You come back to the training late morning, and then again we'll be at the training till nighttime, and then go home to your accommodation. So that's the pace of the training. And we will be co-teaching with Peter Peterson, who is a 25-year Qigong teacher and a movement nerd, as he calls himself, and he's really great at facilitating dance pieces and movement pieces. And we have Monique Darling joining us, who has many, many years of holding Tantra workshops and sex positive conscious play spaces, and we are honored to be teaching with her. So yay, thank you, Monique and Peter, for joining us at the end of the month in Austin. You can check out awakenaslove.com, and there are also Facebook events for both the January 7th Taster event from 1:30 to 6:30 p.m. and the full stage 1 training from January 21st to 28th. So we look forward to hearing from you. Please reach out directly to Scotio or I if you have any inquiries about any of the trainings or any of the information we shared today. We would love to connect with you. And thank you so much for joining us today, James. It's an honor to be with you. Wonderful to see you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Great to see you both.
All right. Thanks so much. I'll stop the recording.